Hello and welcome to Plate Stack Chat with me, Jason. Yes, this show is still brought to you by Strivey. So they've been pretty busy with their athletes at the WFP. So I'm pretty sure they're running a number of other discounts and deals and things at the moment. So you might want to head on over to strivey.app and see what they have available for you at the moment. Today we have another wonderful first-time guest who was competing in Italy at the Fall Series Throwdown. So you might have seen them crushing a workout or just crushing their airwaves as they seem to use it as a chew toy. He also has a pretty incredible comeback story that we might get into as well. So please welcome Joseph Thomas Greaves. I've got to go all the way over here to add you. So far away. Thomas, welcome. Thomas, welcome. Joseph, welcome. The one name I didn't need was the middle.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. Corey's here in the live chat as well. So I forgot to point out, by the way, where the live chat is. So if anybody turns up and says anything, they'll be over there in the side. If you're watching it on Instagram, you can comment. It won't show up on here, but I will see it there. And if they're really good questions, I'll ask Joe what he thinks about them. So if you see me looking away when you're talking, I'm not ignoring you, I promise.
Makes sense to me. Makes sense to me.
Oh no, Nigel Bob's here. All right, Nigel. I'm training hard. I've literally done a workout today. I've really, and not an easy workout, as you know, Joseph. You saw it. It's
yeah, it was a tough workout.
An old open workout. They're always the worst. How are you, first of all?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you fully recovered from your weekend of competition? Your travel back home? Just about.
Yeah. Tried to do a class workout the other day and realised I was still a little bit more sore than I probably wanted to be. But no, we're good, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, look, these are the kind of questions we get. But did you do it in your suit? I did not. But Joseph did take some video of me doing fat bar deadlifts in my suit. So that's the suit is not a hindrance. I can work through it. Don't worry, guys. I'm fine. I see now they're all getting on it. I just joining in as well. I went to the 8 p.m. class on Monday night, having traveled back from Sunday, traveling back, getting back into Bath at like 2 a.m. Monday morning, getting a few hours sleep, and then having to do the school run as well. So, and then I was up and I was like, oh, if I'm up, I'm up. And I just kind of went through the day, and then I was like, oh, if I don't go for the 8 p.m. because I can't go on Tuesday because I'm busy. So I was like, oh, if I don't go now, it's Thursday that I was traveling. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday I was at the event. Now Monday I'm not going to do it, and no, I have to go in. I've never been so tired in a class.
Broken before the workout started.
Yeah, but it was good. Oh, see, now I'm having to jump over here. I saw those fat bar deadlifts. Very impressive. Thank you. So we're going to talk about the Fall Series. The reason I did the fat bar deadlifts is that and this will be interesting because you had to do them in the workout. I felt like they were too light. I said, I think these are too light. And some people said to me, oh no, but it's a fat bar, so it changes everything. And I was like, I don't know about that. And so I gave it a go myself. You had to do the elite individual workout. So the heaviest weight, which was it 60 kilos?
70 kilograms.
70 kilos. It was 60 reps, at 70 kilos. 60 reps at 70 kilos. Yeah. How was it?
The weight itself, it wasn't necessarily heavy. I think just I kind of had in my head a time zone of what it would take to do them, and then just the way that he just went out, I kind of got caught in a trap and very quickly became just a lower back pump. But that was kind of my issue with trying to race rather than the actual weight. But no, it was definitely an interesting start to that workout for sure.
Yeah, I like how we've jumped to almost the last workout of the event.
Literally the last workout of the competition.
Yeah. Oh, for you, yeah. I mean, okay. Well, I wanted to talk about the workouts and the Fall Series and all of it. I mean, but I think I'd like to talk about you first. Actually, I've changed my mind. I was going to talk about you at the end, but we'll talk about you first. I mean, first of all, within the capacity of the Fall Series, because it wasn't your first time there, right?
Yeah, my second year at the Fall Series.
but you're the like the only, apart from people that were competing in the Crown, you were like the only UK athlete that I saw.
Yeah.
How did you hear about it? Find it? Like end up there? What happened?
So I competed the year before in the Roma Throwdown.
Right.
Just in Italy, was just looking for some cool places to go compete. That popped up, qualified, went over there and met Matteo, who was on the media team. Kind of spent the weekend with him, became really cool friends with Matteo, and he sent me the link saying, hey, he was taking photos there. Why don't I try and qualify? So gave it a shot and ended up at the Fall Series. So kind of chilled with the media team, phenomenal kind of set of people. I thought the programming, the kind of the judges, everyone involved was just kind of really cool crew of people. So it just made sense to try and go back as much as possible. Hint that the second year.
I mean, I have noticed that you've done something very clever, and that is that you have befriended the media team, which gave you quite a few perks, I felt, during the weekend. I mean, one of them was getting a lift from the hotel to the
That
venue.
helped. That helped.
Was clever. Also, I saw you dump your bag down behind the media desk, which is convenient. And
I'm
then,
very well looked after there. They're a good crew.
well, then I saw your post a few minutes ago that you put up on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, this guy had a personal photographer as well during this.
I feel like I had kind of like four personal photographers. The media team there were ridiculously good at kind of every time I looked up, there was multiple cameras and stuff. So no, it is a privilege to kind of be looked after that well.
Yeah. So you see, you've got to be. Everyone remembers, like, you've got to be nice to your judge, because they're, you want, if they're giving you no reps, they're very clear about it. You want, if it's borderline, that maybe they're going to be favorable to you. So be polite and kind and sweet to your judges at all time. But
Nah,
we
I
know
feel
that
like
also a lot of people only go for the picture, right? Like that's why they go to these events, is they want their new profile picture. So also be super kind to the media team, and then suddenly your Instagram page will blow up. That's what you know.
I feel like we're very lucky to kind of be able to go and compete in general. So the least we can do is be nice to a couple of people. But
Yeah,
it definitely has perks too.
definitely has bugs. Yes. Yeah, I mean, it was good for me that you were there, because it was like one person that was guaranteed to speak English.
My English is bad. That's the worst thing.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I'll go and find somebody else, because this guy, I don't understand anything he's saying. So let's okay. So that was one thing. Was I was curious to know how you got there through Matteo. Okay, Matteo is also telling me about other events in Italy that I should be looking at going to as well. So
Yeah.
this guy, he's
He's
once he gets you, he's going to try and drag you across the river. I didn't realize I must have met him maybe 2 or 3 years ago at Strength and Depth, because he was a photographer there.
Yeah. I think he's shot maybe twice at Strength and Depth.
Yeah. So did I remember him? No, sorry. So, but now I'll remember him. I'll remember him now and like forever. So that's good.
Just remember the car journeys. That's all you need to remember.
Yeah. Then I watched you, and I'd grab little moments with you throughout the weekend, and you were like, oh, I'm really out of my depth, or I shouldn't be this kind of thing. And I was like, this is strange. Then like literally everything is finished. It's sort of all wrapped up for you at least. And then you told me about like this heart issue that you had. So for anyone who doesn't know, what's happened, because you literally showed me like something sewn into your chest.
Yeah. So I have I'll not get it out. But I have a loop recorder fitted. So I had some surgery in, I want to say, January, February this year, because of some issues where my heart was basically stopping. We don't kind of know why or any kind of reasons, but the whole year before, I was kind of training and I was kind of having blackouts and passing out. My hearts were kind of skipping beat. My heart was skipping beats and kind of putting me in all kinds of not the best positions. So yeah, went and got some checks, had kind of 6, 7 runs of tests, and we in the process of trying to figure out kind of what it actually is that is the issue. So the first year at the Fall Series, kind of this is when it was all happening. I was kind of just pretending it wasn't really happening, and then it got a lot more severe. got the loop we could have fitted, and in my head that was it. If kind of scroll back on my Instagram, I kind of discussed the fall series as like a retirement kind of plan because I didn't think I was going to be able to come and compete again. So to kind of just be back for that second year was a pretty cool moment because I'd genuinely convinced myself that we were probably done with CrossFit, especially at kind of any elite level. So I joked about being out of my depth because the last year and a bit of training hasn't necessarily been as perfect as I would have liked it to have been. But obviously, there's pretty big reasons to why.
Yeah. I mean, that is, yeah, quite great. I mean, I'm also proud of myself. I spent too much time with my children. I did resist saying anything when you said 6, 7. So I'm really proud of myself there. So that's good. I mean, that's for the youth.
Bringing a target audience in.
Yeah. So so that was good. No, that's incredible. So you did it because we mentioned that you did it last year, but so you did it last year, like you suffered through it, kind of thing.
Yeah, there was kind of a couple of like incidences in the run up in training. My kind of best friends, I used to train from my best friend's home gym, literally just attached to the house. And there was a couple of times where I had to kind of like shout his mum to come in because I'd passed out warming up or kind of woken up propped to a sandbag kind of thing. So it was a kind of it was a pretty scary time if I'm completely honest. But hey, we're kind of back and on the road to figuring out what's happening, and we've not had any kind of blackouts or issues for quite a while now. So we're in a good place.
Yeah. And so have you done? So obviously you've just done the full series. Between the full series the previous year and the one this year, had you done any of our competitions, or was this your sort of return?
Competed in Oslo,
Right.
kind of October time. So Oslo was the first ever time I competed in 2022. I competed in Oslo, and that was the first ever kind of elite bracket I'd ever competed in. So competed there as kind of like if this is going to be it, it'd be cool to kind of end where I started. And then the fall series was the kind of one that it was like, do you know what? Like I had the first year at the fall series, I had a couple of like issues with kind of equipment and this kind of stuff. And I kind of felt like there was a little bit of unfinished business almost. Kind of, I wanted to go and take control of everything. So they were the two that I kind of wanted to tick off in a just in case this is it. I kind of feel like it's a full circle.
Yeah. So that was the plan going in. Now, retrospectively, you know, obviously you didn't necessarily get the results you would have liked within the workouts, and that's. But I mean, to be honest, finishing any workout feels like it was a result, considering where you were and what you've gone through. But now coming out the other side of it, is this changing things now? Are you like, oh, okay, I thought I was over, but maybe I am back. Are you eyeing up things for the next season?
Yeah, definitely. The big thing is kind of finding a little bit like more enjoyment in training again. Just train for fun for a little bit. Just kind of the kind of main reason I came into this was just for fun. So I'm going to spend a couple of weeks just enjoying it, and then we'll definitely kind of knuckle down and kind of got my eyes on strength and depth potentially, and then we'll kind of have a look at what Europe has to offer and stuff throughout the year. So no, I do think that there's definitely a lot more to come. Hopefully.
Yeah. So are you looking at? I suppose are you looking more then for experiences with regards to competitions? Like, traveling to Italy is an experience. Getting to you've mentioned going to Oslo. For you, is it going to be more about using it as a as an escape, as an adventure, getting to kind of experience these different things versus, oh, like I know this competition is really good, so I'm just going to keep going to that same competition. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, definitely makes sense. Yeah, I enjoy competing kind of like around Europe and kind of internationally just because I like to think in like 50 years when I'm kind of sat there looking back at what I've done, it'll be pretty cool to kind of tell the grandkids kind of thing where I've competed, and I've competed in kind of all these different places. So yeah, I'd say it depends on like my eyes kind of open up to go in team. So it'd be very interesting to kind of tick some kind of big benchmark team events. But then also I'll definitely kind of go compete in some cool places just because it's cool to do so.
Okay. Talking of competing in some cool places, Nigel's popped up again in the comments. So Nigel is saying you should come and join us at a WOD Active comp. Have you seen the What Active competitions?
So I've seen little bits and pieces, but I would absolutely love to know more.
So the way What Active works is it's a pairs competition, and it is one adaptive athlete partnered with an able-bodied athlete. And then within the adaptive divisions, obviously, you're going to have, seated with hip, or, one arm, one leg, whatever it may be. So the workouts are the same, but then they're adapted. So as you look out, you'll sort of see, oh, here's the adaptation because this person's only got one arm. Here's the adaptation for the person in the wheelchair. And then the able-bodied athlete is having to do like their version of the workout, which is also then, RX or scaled or whatever, depending on, because what's nice about it, beyond it being just like a competition, is the first year I went to it and was like doing, the normal stuff I'm doing at these events. I was like, I've been to a lot of UK comps. I know the faces, you recognize people. You're like, I've seen them on different competition floors, and there's all these people I'd never seen. And I'm like speaking to them and I'm saying, is this your, and they're like, oh, I don't compete normally, but this is the only competition I can do with my wife. So we're competing together. Or, or I think last time there was Henry Dunn, who's a CrossFit Games adaptive athlete, but his partner was his sister. And it's like, we both love CrossFit, but we never really get to do any comps together. So it's really, it's special in that way. And then it's even within then like the adaptions, because you can have people that have, technically on paper should be the same, but because of, the degree that they need to adapt, they kind of set, it'll be like, you should be doing chest to bar. They'll sort of see their version and be like, okay, you can physically only get the chest this far, like this far from the bar. That is your standard. And that is the standard you have to meet for every rep.
You meet your own standard.
Yeah. So it's really nice. It's a great like community. They're building now they've got the next event's in February. It's in London. It's like they've got a big
perfect
a new location, and they're going to keep building on that. It's going to be like kind of the What Active Mecca is going to be this location. And I mean, I'm actually competing this year. This is the worst decision of my life, probably.
Okay.
And Nigel was very sneaky, because what he did is he said, are you coming for media? And I said yes. And he'd already made sure I was booked in, and like I knew I was coming, and I got it in the calendar. And then later he said, if we give you a partner, will you do the work?
Will you do it?
Will you do it? And what do I say? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I'm not busy. I've already said I'm going to be there. So,
I would absolutely love to do this then. This sounds incredible, and I would absolutely love to be a part of it.
Yeah, there you go, Nigel.
Send me a message, Nigel. Send me a message. Let's do it.
Yeah, but I'm like, so for me, and like that's why I went in Monday, even though was super tired, is because I know I've got this in February, and so I'm like, I am back on. This is why every evening when I went out for the meal with the media team, and they're saying beers everyone, and I'm like,
put them beers down. That makes sense.
I'm not drinking, guys. So in a suit for one WOD. Yeah, I'll do it.
Nah,
let me see the workouts.
The suit has to be every workout, doesn't it?
Yeah, look at that. We'll sort it. So look for something coming your way.
Let's go.
Yeah, no. So that'll be good. Okay. Let's put a pin in What Active. We'll talk about that a lot more over the coming months, I have no doubt. I do actually need to get my partner on, because I've never spoken to them beyond a few messages. So I figured, why not? Let's have the introduction here
live.
Live. So I need to set that up in the new year. Let's talk about the Fall Series, though. That's why I got you on. You've been to a lot of competitions. You've been different parts of Europe, different parts of the UK, maybe even further afield. I don't know. How is it for you as an event?
The Fall Series in general, I think it's a pretty phenomenal event. It's a really, really, really cool event, really cool people. I feel like the standard just seems to be getting higher and higher as well, which is always awesome for events. But no, it's I don't know really why, but it kind of feels like it holds like a really important place for me as like a person, as an athlete in this sport and stuff. So no, definitely a special event.
Yeah. Were you surprised at all by the community when you were there? Like how it to me it felt I don't know. To me, like recently, I find myself a little bit falling out of love at times with CrossFit and competitions and events. And I'll be honest, like the WFP just happened, right? And I watched some of the events like on the live stream, and I was just like seeing the chat and just comments in the chat, and I was just like, I, I'm out. Like I can't enjoy it because I get sidetracked by just every little kind of, sometimes there's a justifiable thing to criticize, but also there just kind of is a level of pettiness sometimes where you're
Yeah,
just
yeah. I was just talking to Michaela, my partner, about this, and I was kind of saying I feel like the World Fitness Project in general is just surrounded by negativity and hate, and it kind of feels like it's just for the sake of it rather than any real valid criticism to it. So I think the Fall Series was really cool because they did feel like there was a kind of a huge respect for what was happening, but also everybody was just incredibly positive. And
mm,
no, it was a really cool place to go compete because it did feel like it was almost separate to the negativity that is kind of flooding through the sport at the moment.
yeah, because I find myself, doing this and speaking with athletes like, I go to CrossFit Buff. I'm a member of an affiliate, and I've been a member of that affiliate for more than 10 years. And I go there and I have a great time, and I love doing CrossFit, and the community's wonderful. And it's doesn't matter if I go today. I went at like 4 p.m. class, but I can go at 8. I go at like 10:30 in the morning. Doesn't matter which class I go to. I know a few people in every class. Coaches are great. We have a good time, and I really enjoy it. I never come back feeling like annoyed or upset or anything. And that's
Definitely.
not the same with kind of when I do the media side and I have to speak to people or look into things and that. You kind of feel like sometimes there is this cloud hanging over everything a little bit. Um, and it's why I quite like going to, Adaptive is another great example, as we've mentioned, but the Fall Series or just some of these, not smaller scale, but like more community focused,
Community
where
based,
everyone
yeah,
is just happy to be there. Like they
definitely.
just want to be having a good time. And like the crowd was pretty, I mean, considering like Friday, it's always hard because you got to take time off work, you got to travel to get that sort of thing. So Fridays, but Saturday and Sunday was like, it seemed like a pretty good crowd most of the day at this event. Everybody, as you said, seemed happy. Even the police dropped in. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. And your favorite security guard?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trying to kick me out. Trying to kick me out. Unbelievable. So that was really nice. Did you like the workouts?
On paper, absolutely. On paper, they were really, really cool tests. Yeah, very good
Yeah.
workouts. I think they were really cool. I feel like it was a very balanced test. I feel like it's easy to kind of walk away from a comp and be like, oh, well, there was this, there was this, there was this. But I feel like there wasn't anything that was necessarily missed. We tested a lot
Mm.
of different components. If you kind of look at the pyramid of what CrossFit is supposed to test, I feel like we kind of ticked off a lot of the things a lot of comps kind of overlook, kind of balance, agility, speed, all this kind of stuff. So no, I
Yeah.
feel like it was kind of very, very well programmed. Very, yeah.
Even little things like the first event at the track. Um, Again, maybe sometimes we're a bit spoiled. Like if we've gone to different events and we've seen different things, and they've had like swimming outdoors or stuff like this. You kind of get used to different things. But when I was speaking, particularly with some of the athletes from the Crown, so like the under 23s sort of
Yeah.
division, they were like the fact that there was an event that was not just in the arena but was outside on a
Yeah,
track.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
like
That
for that,
track.
it was like special. It made it special. They were like, oh, we like had to actually go out and run on a track, and that was, I thought, it's such like a little, we could have just done like a row, something else workout in the arena, and just logistically would have been easier to keep everything in that. But I was surprised how meaningful that was to some of the athletes. The
I
fact that
think
they
when
had
you
like an
go
off-site
compete,
event.
it's cool to do something that you can't do in your own gym. Now, whether that's kind of a slightly different standard, a different piece of equipment, like something like that kind of makes competition feel like at the end of the day, like the games is always kind of the most comparable thing. So at the games, there's different venues, there's different days. So I think, especially as a young athlete, kind of watching these, your the people you admire,
Yeah.
to then go and almost replicate multiple day competition with kind of various arenas and stuff. Like it's a very cool thing.
Yeah. Did you get to because obviously we had, there were a lot of Italian athletes there, obviously, but there were also quite, there were a lot of names I struggled with throughout that weekend because they were from the Ukraine or Greece or I think quite a few Icelandic names as well. Like they were from wherever. Did you get to spend a bit of time with any of the athletes, like get to know them kind of in the warm-up area, or
There
not
was
so
kind
much
of
because of the language barrier?
Yeah, there was never kind of big conversations, but I kind of feel like every single person would make the effort to like nod, smile, fist bump each other. It's a really weird warm up area in a sense of that. It kind of felt very respectful. Everyone was incredibly respectful of everyone, and kind of everybody left everybody to warm up in their own kind of way. But there was that very much friendship of before the workout, everyone was kind of somewhat chatting as close as you can between 5, 6 different languages.
Yeah.
But no, it was a cool warm up area. Didn't really get to know anybody kind of for say outside of nodding at each other, smile, kind of warming up, sharing a bar together, kind of thing. But not in a bad
Yeah.
way at all.
No. But also, I mean, you're running your race, right? Everybody's is dialed
Exactly.
in
I
and
feel like
focused.
as the divisions kind of go up higher, you're kind of there for slightly different reasons, and kind of things
Yeah.
are a little more dialed in, and not really the best place for a chat is there. But then, kind of when we were kind of sat watching, there was a couple of people we'd have a chat with and stuff. So outside the
Yeah.
warm up area, it was a very very cool experience.
Yeah. It's always like I never know. Cause obviously I want to grab people, I want to try and talk to them, but you're like, for me, it's sort of like, oh, this person finished, and actually, did they do enough to get the points they needed to bump them up to where they want to be? And for me, that's just like a mental kind of exercise to run the numbers in my head. But
Yeah,
obviously for
figure it
them,
out.
it's their race, and they're like, so then if I'm coming up to you afterwards, being like, hey, are you happy with your finish? Sort of like, how's it going? Did you enjoy the workout? It's hard to ride that line of like, is this going to annoy them?
Yeah, where to do it and where not to.
But at the same time, like if I don't grab them immediately, they disappear and I never see them again. Like that's the
Next thing
danger.
catch
So
them when they're walking onto the floor for the next one.
yeah. Also that, like, do I talk to you before a workout? Because some people like it. Some people it like settles the nerves a bit. They quite like
Relax.
to have a little joke just before 3, 2, 1 go. And other people are like, do not come near me. I'm getting in the zone.
Yeah.
And I think, not only is that different person to person, but obviously also our upbringing and like where we grew up and kind of mentally, not so much because we are, from the Ukraine, we're like this, but if we just grow up a bit more in that kind of environment, maybe we have a like mental outlook that's slightly different. And you're like,
Yeah.
can I joke? English people are known to be very kind of jokey and sarcastic and, having a laugh at all times. And you're like, is that your reputation as well? Can I do that? Can I?
Is that everywhere, or is that just this person, or what?
Yeah, but it was good. Everybody, as you said, everybody was very nice, very friendly. Okay, so we had the track workout. That was the first one.
Yeah.
I've got questions about a few other bits then. So you had the second workout was
Power
that was the
clean,
toast.
wall walk.
Oh, was that the second workout? Oh man,
Yeah, then
it
toast
was a
bar
long day.
dumbbells, the third one.
Yeah. Okay. So you had the wall walk. Is that the one with the complex, right? So
Yeah, power
we,
cleans, box jump, wall walk complex. So wall
yeah.
walk, 2 handstand push-ups.
How was that? Having it as a
So,
complex.
so when Dom, my best mate, he opened his new gym kind of 4 months ago.
Right.
So everything's up. The only thing we don't have in the gym is perspex on the wall. So I haven't done a handstand push-up in 4 months.
Good
So
practice.
it was kind of I was kind of waiting for the workouts to come out, knowing that we'd worked hard, we'd practiced everything possible, but the only kind of handstands we'd done were freestanding handstands. So it was quite interesting to kind of do them in the warm-up area for the first time in a long time. But no, the
Yeah.
complex was cool. I quite like a wall-facing handstand push-up. I've got really little arms, so kind of pressing overheads up there with my favourite things to do. So no, it was
Yeah.
cool, and it was a nice little complex. It kind of broke up the intensity because of the cleans and the box jumps were pretty fast, so it kind of did give you a little bit of time to breathe without having to kind of stop working anywhere.
Yeah. I'm also a big fan of any time we kind of bring in like gymnastics. I'm going to class it as a gymnastics complex. Like
Yeah,
anytime
yeah,
we, because we've done it with barbells for so long. We've had like open workouts where it finished with part B was a complex, of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
this, and that kind of thing. But I feel like the gymnastic movements, bringing them into like, okay, everyone can, because like wall walks came back, didn't they? And people were like, oh, I haven't wall
yeah.
walked
No, it's
since I
done that.
learned how to do handstand push-ups, because that was sort of the scale of it. And then suddenly everyone practiced doing wall walks, get very fast at wall walks, and now it's like, okay, but can you do wall
Now can
walks
you?
into your handstand push-up? And that's got to be one, especially having the two reps, making it kind of a very complete, because there's nothing
Complex,
worse than doing
yeah.
one wall walk, one handstand push up, and then failing your next rep. Like
Yeah,
that's,
missing the next one and then having to restart.
yeah. And I did see some athletes that just could not get through the handstand push ups.
Yeah, it felt like it
And
was quite a big split actually. I kind of didn't think it'd be that big of a separator, but no, the handstands did seem to cause a big problem.
can you walk, Jason? Yeah, I can wall walk. Yes. why? Why this question? I'm actually, considering how short I am, pretty good at wall walks. I quite like a wall walk. So because this is another twist, by the way. I didn't mention this. Something that they do at What Active, which I will be intrigued to see what it is this time, is they very often make the able-bodied athlete have to do an adaptive movement in the workout. So
Okay.
one year, all the skipping was with the mono rope.
Yep.
And then I think the last event they did, maybe they had to do like one arm burpees. So,
Okay. This sounds cool. Adapting on the fly to something seems like it could be
yeah.
entertaining for sure.
Yeah, so they'll just sort of be like, "Hey, if the adaptive athlete has to do it this way,
So do
why should
you?
you get away with not doing it that way?" Kind of thing. So that's whenever if Nigel mentioned something, I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it normally, but what twist?"
Yeah, I was thinking, what are you going to make me do it?
Because I was in Luxembourg. Oh, Joseph, we lost you. Was he gone? Was he gone?
I don't know if you've lost me or if I'm still
Okay,
here.
I can hear you, and I can hear myself like in an echo, but I cannot see you.
You can't see me.
No, I just got a black screen.
I promise I'm here. It kind of like
Okay.
like blacked out, but I can see you. I can hear you. I can see myself on the little screen.
You can see yourself. Well, we can't see you, but we can hear you, so that's fine. And people will
Okay.
just assume I'm talking to myself. Um,
I will see if there's anything I can do with my side, but
yeah,
no, apparently I'm
it's,
here.
it's a bit unnerving, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah, my screen is open. It says I'm here. So
Okay, well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you're here. I can see that you're here, but you're just a black square. There you go. You're back now.
I'm
Now I
back.
can
There we
see
go.
you.
Sorted it.
He says you're safe for February. Okay, that's fine. You're safe for February. Okay. When I was in Luxembourg at the Iron Showdown, that was like again an adaptive, a big mix of adaptive and team and RX and scale, all kind of things, all going at the same time. So like depending on which lane you were looking at, there was either the RX pairs or an adaptive athlete or this or that. Very crazy. But they had wall walks in that, and I remember watching a couple of athletes that had one leg doing wall walks.
It's so incredible.
And that was interesting. So I was like, oh, they're going to make us do like one-legged wall walks or one-handed wall walks. That's been really tough.
That's where my head went straight away, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay. No, so the wall walks were good. Okay. How late did you go to bed on Friday?
Oh, Friday night wasn't too bad. It was like, I say too bad, like maybe 11 o'clock. I'd be in bed for like 9 o'clock every night if I had full control. But yeah, it was a pretty late night and then an early morning. But
do you know about like your other competitors, like what time because Italians, I kind of forgot how late they like to eat, how late they like to do everything.
I made that mistake the first year. I remember going out for food and stuff. being like, this is crazy and getting back. Like, so no, I opted for the straight home and eat some food, go to bed
Very
technique
well
rather
done.
than trusting the Italians to keep me up all night.
Yeah, I didn't. I was very much you know, at the mercy of everybody else. Well, I
Yeah,
was like, you know, so when we had like a media team dinner, okay, I guess that's where I'm going for dinner,
yeah,
right?
couldn't not go.
And they're like, okay, we've booked a table for 9 o'clock. I was like, oh, don't tell me we've booked the table for 9. So yeah, they were very
Again,
late, and then
midnight.
very early starts,
Yep,
right? So Saturday morning,
yep.
you had the breakfast. I was not a fan of the breakfast, I'll be honest with you.
Those eggs were terrible.
The worst thing is that on Friday we talked about how bad the eggs were, and then I saw you
It's the
Saturday morning,
worst.
and you were having eggs, and I was like, "How are the eggs?" And I think you said, "Oh, they're better than yesterday." And I was, "Oh no, oh, I think you said something like they're worse than yesterday." Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
like, "How are the
worst. The
eggs?" And you were
worst.
like, "They're worse than yesterday." I was like, "Oh no, we were just saying about how bad the eggs were yesterday."
Yeah,
So
they just got worse every day.
yeah, I didn't go back after the Friday. I was like, just I guess I don't eat eggs anymore, so I just avoided them. Then we travelled. Did we travel together on the? Yeah, we did, didn't we? On the
Yeah,
Saturday, we were all
yeah.
together as well.
Started.
Brilliant. Yeah, Saturday morning we went there, and then you had. So which was the first workout on the Saturday? That would have been
The
the.
dumbbell split snatch toast bar.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, how was that workout? Did you like the dumbbell split snatch?
If the dumbbell was like 50 to 60 kilograms, yeah. I think the dumbbell was too light. You could just muscle snatch it. So
Yeah.
the split just became like a little bit silly almost.
Hmm.
Um, so with a heavier dumbbell, I think they would like not to say I'm better at programming because I'm most definitely not. But from an athlete's perspective, if the dumbbell was heavy enough that you had to kind of do your own variation to snatch it. So maybe squat snatch it, power snatch it, split snatch it.
Yeah.
That would have made for a more entertaining workout. It just kind of felt slightly novel, but then it also
Hmm.
did test kind of balance, agility. It tested that. So no, it was cool to do something slightly different. But I think a
Yeah.
heavier dumbbell would have been. If you kind of think of when I think of split snatches, I think of Lucy Campbell at what I think it was the World Fitness Project where it was a heavy dumbbell snatch and she split snatched it and got like a real big advantage
Yeah.
because of the dumbbell being super heavy. So her kind of adaptation and technique to move it so quickly helped her. So whereas I feel like when everybody was made to do the same movement, it didn't speed
Didn't help.
anything up
Yeah.
or change anything. So yeah, a heavier dumbbell would have made it a lot more interesting. Like the actual physical need to split snatch would have been a cool challenge.
Yeah, I was speaking to a couple of athletes that were like getting no repped because they were forgetting to like bring their feet back together.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is because they didn't need to put their foot behind them in the first place.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
there
So
wasn't
it
like a
was almost a
tactile
novel.
sensation of,
Yeah.
oh, I need to stand up to get back into position. It was just kind of like, oh, they're down, and they're like, oh, you didn't put your
I
feet
think
back before putting the weight down.
the judges had a real difficult kind of thing to do in judging the split snatch because everybody, as you do in CrossFit, you kind of ride the line as much as possible to go fast. And I feel like with that, there was a lot of people kind of really on that line of what was a rep, what wasn't a rep. And I think it
Yeah.
made judging that really, really hard because of the fact that some people were doing it and getting away with it, some people were doing it and getting no reps. So it kind of added a lot of, you kind of did as
It's
much
also
as you
because
could.
you've got to be looking in two completely different, because you've got to be looking down at the feet, but you've also got to be looking at the arm
And up
overhead
at the dumbbell.
because you're
Yeah,
like tricky. Yeah. Okay.
especially
What
with
was?
that many athletes on the floor, where the judge
Yeah.
had to stand kind of meant that they were not really in the best position to see everything going on. But they did a phenomenal job with kind of the cards they were dealt. But no, a heavier dumbbell would have been
Yeah.
more optimal.
More optimal. Yeah. But this was good, but more optimal. But I heard the photographers, they were like happy that it was a split snatch because it just gave it something that was like something different from to take a
Yeah, it's a
picture of.
cool movement to shoot, isn't it? Like I can imagine, like for the ones
If
that
you get a
were
good one.
really having to
Yeah.
split it, it looks really cool on camera.
Yeah. So there you go. So, you know, again, we're balanced. We're like and I actually do think
Mixing it.
the visual element is really like if you're doing an event where you're going to have spectators and people are watching, like you do need to, Dave Castro talks about it a lot, about like really making sure it's visually appealing for everyone.
Yeah, it has to look cool and look like it, look different to just 40 people muscle snatching at 22.
And being able to follow it is important. And I think that was one, like they tried like on the previous workout where you were having like the rounds with the handstand push-up, you kind of had to move your cone, and they had numbers, and so we could sort of see which round you're on if people remembered to move their cones. But and again, they're limited with space and what they're doing, and they're not the games, so they shouldn't pretend to be like that.
Exactly. You don't want to compete at kind of what feels like a cheap replica. You want it to feel like its own competition, and it definitely does that.
Yeah, but that was nice. You was it then the fourth workout that had the iron bike, the like basically the air bike, right? Was that?
Yeah.
Okay, how's that bike?
Like absolutely fine.
Yeah,
I feel like that workout's an interesting one again. I feel like on paper, really cool workout. In execution, everyone just sat on the bike and breezed through the calories. Nobody I think in principle, the idea was that the bike would have to be really fast. So then you were kind of left in that almost Fran-like position where you're kind of struggling to breathe, picking up the bar. Whereas actually it was just kind of like, it just felt like a rest minute active recovery. And then the heavy bar. So I get on paper what the idea behind it was, but I do feel like in execution, I think because everybody did the same thing, there wasn't. If somebody would have gone out,
if someone had gone out,
then everybody would have had to, but everyone just didn't. So then it just fell on who can
had a little meeting beforehand to be like, guys,
let's all agree to not send this one.
No, I've got some video of people on the bike, and I'm like, this isn't like great video because they just feel like they're really
zone 2 chilling out.
Yeah, but then it was just interesting to see when people were choosing to like stop. So it was a 10-minute clock, but it was 2-minute windows, but the clock was always running, and you had to change the weight on your bar, and the weight had to go up every time for the front squat.
Increase the weight, and you did it whenever you wanted, really.
Well, exactly. It was interesting to see. There were people that would basically max out their time, and then they're like, right, your second, next window's begun, and then they would load the bar, and then they would go and get on the bike.
The bike and
do their bike. Whereas someone else would have like stopped 15 seconds early, started, loading the bar. So then when it's your next window, they're just on the bike immediately and off they go. And I spoke to Emma Galova that won the crown on the women's side, and she was one of those that just took it to the very last second doing the front squats. And then I was like, so why, why was that your choice? She's like, I just wanted to get as many of the light reps done, like maximize them out. And then, and I mean, she won the heat and she won the whole thing. So
it worked for her.
I guess it worked for her. Right. But I was interested by because in our gym, CrossFit Bath, we've got obviously the assault bikes, and we've got some of the Rogue Echo bikes. Where does the Blore iron bike sit in between these different bikes?
It just felt like an Echo bike. It just felt like no real difference to an Echo bike, if I'm completely honest. Just felt just exactly the same. I didn't realize it wasn't an Echo bike until I walked past the Blore kind of stand and saw their own version of it.
Well, they've got I didn't realize. I guess I was just naive. Or so I saw the bike and I was like, oh, I know this. I could see it wasn't a Rogue Echo bike, and I've got to do the recap of the workout, right? So I asked someone, could you tell me what the bike is? Because I know Echo bike is a brand, assault bike is a brand. I need to be able to reference the bike without, annoying this company by mentioning one of their competitors as the piece of equipment. So they're like, oh yeah, it's the iron bike. Okay, brilliant. On Sunday, I'm speaking with the Italian director of tier, and he's like, oh, have you met Ottavio? He's the CEO of Blur. I'm like, no, I've not met him yet. So he takes me over and introduces me to him. And I didn't realize until that point that every single piece of equipment was made by them. The weight plates, the bars, the dumbbells, the sandbags, the rig, like just everything was theirs.
Everything.
And I was like, oh, they're a massive company, like it's
Yeah,
huge.
yeah. I didn't realize even to like compete in Italy, and I was like, oh no, like every single thing is made by them.
And now I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm like, I've seen stuff for the Athens Throwdown popping up, and it's again like it's their rig,
Yeah.
their plates, their stuff, and I'm like, man, these guys are everywhere. They're, and they're lovely people. I love them very much, and I got given a lot of free stuff, and I love it.
Makes it even better.
And that was just that was Sunday. That was just by chance because I got introduced to him. But I was curious to know about the bike because we did a workout. We had like a big chipper the other week, and it ended with 20 calories on a bike, right? But there were C2 bikes, there were assault bikes, and there were eco bikes.
Yeah.
And it started on it. So it was a chipper, and it was like it was row. I want to say sit-ups, burpees, and then kettlebell swings were in there. So there was, I think it was like kettlebell swings, then the burpees, and then the bike, right? So I'm pretty good at burpees, and I can hang on with the kettlebell swings. So I actually got to the bike, and we'd been told sort of like bikes are going to be what's available, right, when you get there.
Yeah, whatever you get on, get on.
But our coach, the wonderful Joey, was a bit like, but don't take the C2 bike, unless you're a coward, don't take the C2 bike. And I finished the burpees. I got there, and there was in front of me all the bikes available, and he's just standing over my shoulder.
Yeah, looking at an eco bike.
So I got on the eco bike, and it was the worst bit of the whole thing. And I was just like, nothing is moving. And then I would see people jump on the C2 bike and just like
flying on the C2,
fly past me, like this horrendous thing. So I have seen the difference between the assault bike and the eco bike, and I know that eco bike, I cannot get those calories to move, no matter how hard I try.
It's a whole different world in eco bike, to be fair. But
so that's why I was curious about the blower bike, and I'm like, oh, is it a happy medium, or is it as punishing as the eco bike?
So we've been doing like a running an eco bike like cycle for like 12 weeks or so now. So the eco bike has become something that I quite like in comparison to a lot of other stuff. So no, the bike was quite nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the eco bike for me that, sometimes, considering how long I've been doing CrossFit, sometimes I think, oh, I'm just an idiot. Like I should just think about this. The eco bike is big, right? Like it's a big beast of a machine. And I get on it and I'm like, well, these are the handles, and I should put my hands like on the handles where hands go on handles. Like that's logical, right? And then the other day I was on it, and I was like, oh, I should just bring my hands like further in, so they're almost touching like the metal where the handle comes out.
Yeah.
Because I'm small, and I moved to that position. I was like, oh, this is so much better for me. Like it just fits my proportions much better. And suddenly the bike got not easy, but fractionally easier than it had been. Yeah. Okay. Good. I was curious about that. Lovely blow. So is that one? That was event 4, right? Now we move to
axle bar, burpees.
Yeah. What happened to you on that workout? Because you were like really looking forward to the ring muscle ups, but then your back went in the first part.
Just blew up. No real kind of reason to it. I think just volume of the weekend. My kind of from the dumbbell, from the running, my hamstrings, glutes were just pretty jacked up. And then if it was from flying, just kind of started with the burpees, and my back got super jacked up. Kind of no excuses. It was a workout that on paper I was very excited for. But 5-6 minutes in, I was like, my body's pretty empty, kind of pretty battered from the weekend. So no, it's one of those that in the gym, fresh on a Monday, absolutely love it. But the kind of the toll of the weekend just put me back in my place a little bit. But it's all about learning. Definitely learned how to pace deadlifts better. That's for sure.
It was an interesting workout. It was interesting because it was scored in 2 parts, which was interesting. So there was a lot of points on the table, and it did shake up, not so much, like not on all of the leaderboards, but on some of the leaderboards, that event like had kind of bigger ramifications going ahead because of the point spread.
Definitely.
Like on the elite women's, that was the first part, the part A, the burpees and the deadlifts, that was the only workout that Syria didn't win. On the women's side, she won every other event, and she won the ring muscle ups, but just that one she didn't win. And Aphrodite won that, and then she got second behind Syria for the ring muscle ups, and I think 2 other girls finished between her and Kika, and that's what put her then into second place, and then she was able to maintain that until the end of the week. So it was like quite a big. And on the I think on the men's side, similar thing. There was some shake up there, and on the Crown men's as well. Like on the Crown's men's, there's this young lad Christian, and he won both parts A and B. His mum did the masters workout, and she won both parts A and B.
That's being that good as a family at deadlifts and ring muscle ups is a big flex.
Yeah, and then his dad messaged me today because he'd seen one of my videos saying like I'm at CrossFit Bath, and that whole family, they've got like, I think there's about 3 kids, and potentially all 3 of them will qualify for like the teens for the IF3 like European Championships that will be held in Bath this year, next year. So he's like, oh yeah, we're all going to be coming to Bath for the thing. I was like, there you go. So yeah, annoying. It's not fair.
I'm gonna have to be really unprofessional here and very quickly grab my phone charger if that's okay, because my phone
is
about
fine.
to die. I'll be 2
well,
seconds.
you've already disappeared once, so
yeah, I'll disappear again.
He's disappearing again. So he's gone off to get his charger. What do I say? And Nigel's asked a question while you've gone.
My charger.
Got his charger. Nigel's asking, what was your best moment from the Fall Series?
Oh, best moment from the Fall Series. Good question.
Don't say meeting me. That's too easy.
Yeah, let's go for that one. No, that's a big question because on like there's 2 sides to kind of how the Fall Series went. Sorry, I've got a really dodgy phone that doesn't charge either, so we're battling all the challenges here.
This is where you need to get on the podium and get some money to buy a new phone.
Yeah, I'm broke. I need some money. Best man from the Fall Series. I'd say it's a really cheap answer from what I said earlier, but actually being back competing at the elite level, just in general, kind of walking onto the floor for the first time in the arena, second workout after the run, was a pretty cool moment after kind of genuinely convincing myself last year that it was never going to happen again. So yeah, I'd say the actual experience of being back there was the kind of the big takeaway.
Yeah. Did you like the way it was sort of laid out, that you had like the curtain that you came through, and then they would have all the crew kind of making like a tunnel, all applauding as you came through? Like, do you like that, or is that a bit much, or were you like,
I used to play football,
right?
So it kind of made me think of that, if I'm honest. So it was something that I was somewhat used to because of playing football, so it wasn't too bad. But I can imagine it could be quite a weird thing if you hadn't been in that position.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think I feel like there's a big push for them to try as much as possible to give because that wasn't just for the elites, right? That was for every heat.
Yeah, no, every single category had the same.
And it just feels like they really want to give everyone this sort of feeling of, this is what it's like to be an athlete. This is what it's like to be on a competition floor, and to have people cheering for you, and to have the staff and the crowd and the people behind you, which I think for many of us, we're not, we're very aware of our ability, and they're like, well, I'm not going to be throwing down with the elites, and I'm not going to be going to, I don't know, the French Throwdown or something like that. I'm not going to qualify for these kind of events. This might be it.
I think it's cool
to kind of get that experience.
The intermediate scales, kind of masters, pairs, whatever your category, you were treated like an athlete. It wasn't like this thing where everyone got by and then the elites came on and okay, now let's take it serious. I feel like whatever category you were competing, you were treated like an athlete. And I think that's, like you said, not everybody is cut out for the games. So, those experiences are kind of limited to that, but they kind of made, I wasn't competing in kind of every category, obviously, but I feel like everybody was treated really, really
Yeah.
well from what kind of we saw from where we were.
Also, like the workouts were, even the experience one that was meant to be like the lowest division. So I was speaking with Georgia about this, and initially that was like just to get you some experience on the competition floor.
Yeah.
But that was 13 years ago. Like, and over the years, the level of skill for the experience has gone up as well.
Yeah.
And so you were seeing like even some of the moves they were having to do. You're like, oh, that's
I mean, they had sync handstand push-ups in the
yeah.
experienced category.
And even like the Masters team, I was watching so I bumped into a guy because he had like his dog was wearing a Fall Series t-shirt. And so like
Yeah, I've seen the pictures.
and then he's like, oh, Jason, yeah, I'm following you on Instagram. I was like, okay, so when are you competing? He's like, this, with this Masters 110, this category. I was like, fine. So they also had to do like 30 synchro ring muscle ups.
I was going to say there was ring and bar muscle ups in like every category, which is crazy.
And this team, the girl, because it was male, female, she, I want to say, did at least 20, if not 25, of the ring muscle ups, because she was
we
always
saw it
on that.
loads where people were missing muscle ups and stuff, and like the female in the male female team was doing like big sets every time, and the guys were swapping in and out and stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was a lot of very cool things.
But that's like great. I do love it, and I know, talking of like IF3, I've spoke with a lot of the Masters athletes in that, and I know with Masters athletes quite often there's a degree of frustration when they feel like they pare skills down too much,
Yeah.
and they're
It's
like,
kind
guys, we're still
of
good, we're practicing these things, don't take it away from us. So I think it's
give them
nice
the
for them to
opportunity to do them, especially in
get
the high level, and to when you compete, it's almost a showcase of what you've been doing, what you've been working on.
Yeah.
So to kind of take that away from them feels not quite fair. So no, very cool to kind of to watch. Because basically, there's a lot of people that it appeared to get their first muscle ups and first ring muscle ups and stuff
yeah
in workout. So I feel like for you were talking about the crowd and stuff, like there was a lot of times where there was huge celebrations when people did get their first reps of stuff. So from a community aspect, like seeing someone from your gym, seeing your coach, seeing your friend get their first kind of couple of reps and stuff on an arena floor it's got to be a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, I mean it's good, and also what's nice is those things were kind of always at the end. So you kind of had like a big workout, and then at the end there's a bit like an open workout where usually it's that high skill barrier is at the end of the workout, right? It wasn't like 30 ring muscle ups for time, and then once you finish that,
just stood there for
try and
12
knock
minutes.
this out.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Did you get to see the final workout? Because I know
we hung around and watched a little bit of it. Yeah, wall balls, thrusters.
I told you were close. I can't remember.
Yeah,
I think
so me and him, we went and sat down afterwards. We were like, why didn't we say thrusters? We said every single movement under the sun other than thrusters.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't have told you anyway, but if I'd wanted. So that was.
I didn't think they'd do wall balls and thrusters in the same workout though. That's why I kind of ruled one out.
Because they're the same thing.
They're just the same pattern.
And they're both horrible.
Just the
but
same.
One is worse than the other, but which is worse?
So what, 7 workouts deep, 6 workouts deep.
Yeah.
3 days.
And then a little sandbag carry to get you across to the other side as well.
Which wasn't long enough to give you any rest. So you basically just did 4 rounds of squatting with a little wander between.
Yes. I wonder how, because the barbell was pretty heavy and then especially when you compare it to like the wall ball weight, right? It was just 9 kilos.
Yeah, so 60 kilograms for the thrusters.
I'm wondering, like, does that feel like, is that the way to make wall balls feel nice? Is to do some horrible thrusters
first? The wall ball volume was that high that I don't think...
it was a lot higher, you're right, yeah. Nice for the first 5 reps.
If it was 12, 9, 6 wall balls, I think that'd be beautiful, but making them do the bigger sets of wall balls, I don't think...
Yeah. Was it like 30? Was it 30 or 32?
I want to say 30, 20, 10, but that might not be correct.
I think it was higher I think it went 26, 18.
Because then it would have been 15 something 9 thrusters, and then double reps on the wall balls would make sense.
Yeah. Horrible.
18 to finish a workout as well is pretty rough.
Yeah, it was funny watching the people that won the workouts, because they like they just kind of walked across with the sandbag, and it's like they had nothing in them to sort of. There was almost no cheer. There was almost no, yeah. Apart from Michael Germano, who won it for the Crown boys, like the Crown men's one, and he just turned around and screamed in the camera. He was just so happy to win. But yeah, it was good. It was
no balls anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, and then there was another lad. Is it Mika Pilza, I think, from Namibia, who was there. And he was just kicking himself because he was like, oh, if I'd gone unbroken on the wall balls, I think I probably could have beat him on that workout. And then he finished in 4th place overall.
So and he's like, if it have.
Yeah. So I do love that, even though it's like, I don't want to say a small event, but in the grand, it's a big event, but in the grand global scheme of CrossFit, it's not a semi-final, it's not the games, it's not this other. But for everyone competing, it is like it's their games, and they are thinking about, oh man, if I'd pushed a little bit harder on that, I'd have ended up on the podium, and if I'd done this and I'd done that. And I just think that's, especially when there's all talk about the future of CrossFit and what's going to happen, and if they're selling and this and that, and what's going on with these events, and there's this event competing with that, and and it's just like, I think we're okay, guys. I think these kind of things are still gonna exist regardless.
The outside of the things that are directly attached to HQ will keep the kind of the sport going for the right reasons.
Yeah. So great. Well, so will you be back next year? That's the big question. Are you going to make it 3 years in a row?
We'll see come November, but I don't see why not. I don't see why not.
Yeah. Okay. Good. People kept asking me, they're like, "Are you going to be back?" It's like, why are you asking me? Like, don't ask me. It's not down to me. Like, go and speak to George or speak to Nasty. Ask them. But I was told I should probably be thinking about booking my flight as soon as I hear the dates get released. So
if you do it, I'll do it. We'll do it that
way. Yeah. Okay, good to know. Because just an extra burden of responsibility on me. That's what I live for. So I asked you. You wear a suit too? Oh, then yes. I had to travel back in my suit as well. And I realized it was like 2:00 in the morning, and I was walking home, and I was like, I'm still wearing a tie. I didn't even take my tie off. Yeah. Oh, that was impressive. I managed to make, because I wasn't sure I was going to make my bus.
I thought when you put your Instagram story up, I was like, he's not making this.
It took less than 5 minutes to get through passport control when I got back into the UK, compared to the hour and a half it took me to get into Italy. And then I was able to get down to the underground, get on the tube, get across to the next terminals, get off. I was 10 minutes early for my bus. It's like amazing. Could not believe it. I was sweating.
Red hot in the suit, but it was worth it.
Yeah. So practicing for, my suit WOD in Adaptive, obviously. Exactly my adaptation. I did ask you when we were there if you had anything planned for, next year. And I can't, probably when I asked you, I wasn't fully aware of your circumstances going into this event. So now things make a bit more sense. But you're talking about just trying to kind of enjoy and have fun and, enjoy training again and this and that. Well, we've heard maybe Adaptive is something to put in the calendar, so that could be interesting.
Adaptive will be the next one. We'll lock that.
That'll be the next one. We'll lock that in. Okay. Are you thinking about anything else? Is like, are you one of these guys thinking, oh, I might try an Affix, I might try a High Rocks, I might try a thing like that, or you are no, it's going to be a CrossFit event or nothing?
I don't know. I really don't know. In my head, like team is becoming more and more interesting.
That's the thing. Yeah.
So if the kind of the right people pop up, and
have you got people that are like, that you could form a team with? Like, have you got people that you've done sort of team WODs or team workouts or team throwdowns or like?
Yeah. There's a couple of people kind of who I've kind of done bits and bobs with before, who I know would be a pretty strong team. So it's just kind of sorting logistics out and stuff. But no, that's definitely going to be in the works, kind of the next couple of weeks.
A destination in mind of where you'd take that team?
Somewhere.
I always see everyone go. I always see everyone going to like Wodapalooza as their kind of the people putting teams together for that. Is that?
Yeah, Water Blues would be cool. Would be very, very cool. But no, we'll see. We'll see. I don't kind of really have anything directly in mind, so it'd be kind of nice to kind of chat with a couple of people, see where kind of 2026 ends up taking me. But no real like plans as such yet. But definitely the want to go compete.
All right. Okay. You're at the gym now, right?
No, I'm a
No.
so I own a childcare company. We run holiday camps, after school clubs, kind of work in education. So I've been doing that today. So no, still here at
Still there.
our little classroom. Yeah.
And you mentioned your friend opened a gym. You don't have the perspex on the walls yet.
No.
What is the gym? What is the gym? Can we?
It's
Do you want
called
to shout it out?
Yeah, Tenacity. Tenacity is Tenacity Fitness on Instagram. It's a ridiculous gym. So definitely check it out.
Okay, so if people want to stalk you, that's where they can go. That's where you'll find him.
Find me in there.
Yeah, we didn't even speak about the airwaves. I can't believe we didn't talk about that, but that's
the key bit. That's the key bit.
Yeah, I have got that great clip with where we're commenting on your workout during with you chewing down on the airwaves.
Exactly
that will get clipped into a reel at some point.
Fantastic.
I'll tag airwaves into that as well. All right. Well, thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you, everybody that, basically Nigel, who blew up the comments today. Appreciate that.
Cheers, Nigel.
So, and anybody that's watching on Instagram that I always forget to kind of reference and think about. Joseph, I'm sure I'm going to catch up with you then in 2026, whether it's somewhere in the UK or maybe in Italy or at Tenacity. Who knows? We'll bump into each other, I'm sure. What have we done? 22nd. Will I be back again before the end of the year? Maybe, but I haven't got anything booked in. But there's a good chance I'll try and get someone on. But keep watching the socials to see if that happens. I don't know. I'm actually not. Well, I've got 2 more days of work, and then I'm off until the new year, which has never happened. Hasn't happened in the last 10 years. So I'm like, wow, what to do with my life? So that's exciting. So maybe podcast, or maybe just relax and enjoy my life. I don't know. It's one of the two. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully see some of you then. And everybody,